Are you ready?
Oh God.
Yes to everything. Have smartphones made us dumber?
Yes, they definitely have. They've made us not be able to really not just connect with people, really truly, yeah. Because I mean, when you think about feelings and not just feelings, but real complex situations, it can't be done through um, chats and texts, yeah. And not just that, it can't be done through emojis. It's also a dangerous thing. It's not just that connection thing. It's also, it's just made us go into a world of our own. And if you don't expand your world, then yeah, dumb. Do I have to fill the time?
It's 1 minute.
And also, that girl, she should have fixed her nail because it's a bit off
Oh
polish.
my God.
Oh,
All
sorry.
right. It's true. Smartphones have made us sort of, it's kind of like ironic because they're supposed to connect everybody together, but it's made us kind of withdraw into our own worlds. And it really has supplanted the need to write because before smartphones, before we were all shooting off texts to each other, we were actually writing more. Even in the email days before, before texts, we were emailing, and even that was more writing. But now we just send little single word correspondences and emojis, and we're often misunderstood. And I don't know, I just feel like our writing skills have suffered. And in that sense, we're getting dumber.
Not just that, but we used to look in each other's eyes when we communicated more.
Yeah. Not only that, but also people are becoming way too dependent on all these things. I remember the first smartphone, they used to call it a Palm Pilot. And when it first came out, it was supposed to kind of replace certain rudimentary things that we do with our brains. And people thought it would free up our brains from these rudimentary things so that we can do more sophisticated and wonderful things. And everybody just assumed we would become much better, enhanced people. But that didn't happen. So what happened is we forgot how to find our way around the city. We relied on the GPS, and
Hmm.
now we're completely dependent on the GPS to the point where some people are driving into lakes and dying because of their smartphone, as opposed to figuring it out, how to get there, remembering things, talking to people, and sort of creating like an analog in your brain of
Hmm.
information.
Just the other day, I was taking a cab, and at some point, I said to the driver, "Listen, I know there's nothing worse than a backseat, critic here, but what the hell? Where are we?" And he goes, "I don't understand what GPS keeps telling me this. I know we're wrong." I'm like, "So why are you following it?"
It's true.
Mhm.
Like in the days when we had to ride our bicycles to somebody's house, knock on their door, deal with their parents in order to see them, like we had to go through a lot just to look at our friends in the eyes. So when we finally got to look at them, we spent quality time together. We could see each
Mm.
other's micro expressions, and we really got to know people. So I always say people from our generation have really strong relationships and bonds with their friends that kids today don't really know about. Because today they're one text away from having no friendship, on to the next one. Round two.
Okay.
Do some people not deserve a second chance?
I have to say, absolutely. There are some people that do not deserve a second chance. I'm thinking in particular, most currently, of the case of Alex Murdaugh, a lawyer in southern United States whose family ran a huge county in the lawyer and in the state prosecutor type realm for a century. A good old boy club where they protected each other when it came to murder, when it came to theft, when it came to all sorts of really horrible things. And this man, Alex Murdaugh, he was found not only to have stolen millions of dollars and acted in a conduct most unbecoming, he killed his wife and son to protect himself. He does not deserve a second chance.
Well, sure, and I totally agree with people who have committed atrocities and egregious crimes, but even less severe violations. You know, I'm a fan of Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil, he says, "What is this cliche? People deserve a second chance. Very rarely people deserve a second. Even Maya Angelou, the great American poet, she says, when people show you who they are, believe them." This idea of giving people a second and a third chance and giving them the benefit of the doubt, it's kind of derives from our own compassion, but it's not merited by the people.
I absolutely concur with Dr. Phil that people don't deserve a second chance. And I can understand why he would say that and totally believe it, because I think that he believes people deserve a hundredth chance because that's the chances he's gotten over the course of the years.
Don't be going down, don't trash Dr. Phil. He started his life homeless. He had an alcoholic father, was so terrible and abusive, and he spent a couple of years on the street when he was Gabriel's age. And so that guy has made a life for himself. And what I like about him is how strong and composed he is in very difficult situations, because not many people can keep it together. And then you know what it's like interviewing people live on the air and running a show. Imagine you're doing like a 1 hour therapy session and the whole world is watching and you're dealing with the hardest cases. That guy's got some serious skills, and I admire it. I'm not saying he's always right.
Well, the difference between me and him in that situation is that I'm not trying to get anybody's money.
Well, yes and no. All
I
right.
don't know. I don't put myself in the same grift category as Dr. Phil when it comes to that.
But you're in a grift category?
Well, I mean, who isn't in this world, really?
Interesting. All right. Next question is always the tough one.
Yes.
All right. Is greed good?
No, greed is not good.
The game is called Yes to Everything.
Shit. Yes, greed is good. Greed is not just good, greed is great. Greed means that you get ahead. Greed means that everything else doesn't matter. Greed means that you take what you want, no matter what. If somebody else suffers, it doesn't matter because why? Greed is good. You're getting what you want at the cost of climate, at the cost of suffering of other people, at the cost of amputations. Yeah, there's some people that think greed is so good that they don't care if other people have to contribute their limbs to make sure that that greed is satisfied. That's how good that greed is. Yes, greed is so good. Mm.
So you're saying it's got to be good if it's gonna if it forces people to do such terrible things and feel okay with it. There's got to be something good about it, right? Or is it corrosive and corrupting? Is does greed blind us to what we're doing?
I think that greed ultimately is almost comically self destructive. Here you are trying to be the biggest, the best, the most, respected or whatever it is, to have the most money. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's a thing that ultimately, in the bigger picture, will destroy you.
Do you think every person has an element of greed to a different degree, or are there some people that are greed free?
I've met people who are greed free for sure.
So then that means it's not part of human nature if you can dispel yourself of it. So where does it come from? Like, why do people become greedy? Why is it such a prevalent thing among people if it's not in our nature?
I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm thinking now also of animals, like I do in these types of situations. And, there are also greedy animals, right? Like you see some animals when there's a lot of food, They won't share it, even if they already ate a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure about, where it comes from exactly, but our society, especially nowadays, since especially the 80s, remember when greed was good, that was the motto of the 80s. And also it was all about like me, Reagan era. Um, Ever since then, and now through the onset of social media and promoting yourself is the thing, Instagram, selfies, all that stuff. I think that, yeah, it's
Well,
society and it's a part of DNA, I guess, greed.
I wonder if it's going to go like the way of, let's say, like tattoos. Like there used to be a time when nobody had any tattoos. So to have a tattoo was so intriguing and unique, and it brought a lot of attention. And then all of a sudden, everybody had tattoos. And now it's the person who's got no tattoos is so intriguing and unique and deserving of attention. So I wonder if in a world full of greed, the one who is selfless, are they going to be the new superstars, the one that everyone gravitates towards, that's intriguing and interesting?